Officially, that's 2 a.m. Sunday morning. So remember, spring ahead. A reminder from the Bermuda Broadcasting Company.
You're watching Bermuda Tonight. It's Monday, March the 4th, 2019. I'm Diane Brewer, and thank you for joining us. Topping our news, the government today put forth a motion in the House of Assembly condemning a recommendation from the UK that all British citizens have the automatic right to vote here. The controversial recommendation came from the Foreign Affairs Committee, whose job it is to put forth recommendations to the UK government, which can either accept or reject them. The suggestion that belongership rights across the territories be abolished has caused alarm not just here in Bermuda, but across all of the UK territories. Premier David Burt today forceful that his government will vigorously fight any attempt to implement the recommendations should the UK government take them seriously.
A united front. Nearly all PLP MPs on hand to send a message to the mother country.
Good afternoon, members of the media. And
Premier David Burt pulling no punches in his response to the UK Foreign Affairs Committee, the FAC. He said the island has been confronted with views that defy the very nature of Bermuda's long-standing relationship with the United Kingdom.
In 2012, the white paper from the United Kingdom government confirmed that each territory has a unique community, and it is for the territory to shape the future of its own community. Here we stand 16 years after the first true election of universal adult suffrage, of single-seat constituencies with one man, one woman, one vote of equal value, forced to take a stand to defend the right of Bermudians to determine the direction of our own country.
Now that the committee has made its controversial recommendations, it is up to the UK government to either accept or reject them. Mr. Burt believes it was necessary to table a motion before the House of Assembly condemning the FAC for a number of reasons.
First, to make Bermuda's position clear on the recommendations. The report comments on the adoption of a public register of beneficial ownership for Bermuda and the issue of voting rights for British citizens resident in Bermuda. On beneficial ownership, our position is a bipartisan one, endorsed by successive governments. We will adopt a global standard for a public register of beneficial ownership once one is implemented. Two, to signal the political unanimity of Bermuda on the issues. It has often been said that while we may disagree internally, to the world we must present a united front. The motion tabled today provides an opportunity for all elected members of the House to speak with one voice in the debate and with their vote.
So far, experts have downplayed the significance of the FAC report, as it is only up to the UK government to take them up if it wishes to do so. But the Premier reminding of the UK parliamentary bill that ordered the territories to set up registers of beneficial ownership, in which the will of the UK government was overpowered by a group of fringe MPs.
In a move that not even the UK government was prepared for, a cross-party amendment has been introduced into the House of Commons in London and is slated for the report stage under procedure today. The amendment seeks to further force the issue relating to public registers of beneficial ownership, and we understand that its support is considerable and growing. It seems that some members of the House of Commons Foreign Affairs Committee are not content in waiting for the government to take a position on the report's recommendations, and they are moving with haste to force their implementation.
Asked by Bermuda Broadcasting News if it was simply the case that members of the Foreign Affairs Committee were uninformed and whether or not he feared further encroachment upon Bermuda's internal affairs.
However, persons that are on the Foreign Affairs Committee are not uninformed of Bermuda. They are persons who have been to Bermuda. There are persons who have interacted with our government on many occasions. I just think that they happen to have a different view. They view Bermuda as a province of the United Kingdom that they can govern and legislate for from Westminster. We do not agree with that perspective, and we are going to make it very clear in this House, and I expect to receive unanimous support on this particular motion, that it is for us to make our own laws, and for them, if they want to be colonial, then they need to go back to a different era.
And that was Tarai Trott reporting. The British government today halted a debate on a bill about financial services after it appears the government would be defeated. According to the BBC, a group of MPs had hoped to amend the bill to force greater tax transparency in Britain's Crown Dependencies in the way they forced legislation upon the overseas territories in 2018, calling for public company registers. Jersey, Guernsey, and the Isle of Man would have had to public registers of beneficial ownership under their plans. The Treasury said as amendments were only tabled on Thursday, they will be considered at a later date to ensure, quote, sufficient time for proper debate. However, like the overseas territories, the Crown Dependency Islands said the attempted clampdown was, quote, contrary to established constitutional relationships. Coming up, debates in Parliament and the latest from AccuWeather headquarters. Stay with us.
Our TempurPedic gives us the best night's sleep ever.
I recommend my TempurPedic to everybody.
The most highly recommended bed in America just got better. Introducing the all-new, reinvented TempurPedic. Designed with the most pressure-relieving material we've ever created and superior cool-to-touch technology. It adapts and responds to your body's unique needs throughout the night for your deepest, most rejuvenating sleep.
At Furniture Walk, furnishing Bermuda's homes for over 30 years. 12 Harvey Road, Paget, 292-5209.
Toyota commercial vehicles from Bermuda Motors are the smart business choice. They're fuel efficient, durable, and provide exceptional performance. Bermuda Motors maintains an inventory of Toyota genuine parts and has Toyota factory-trained technicians. So don't risk buying a second-hand or gray market truck from someone you don't know. Whether you run a large fleet or single commercial vehicle, choose Toyota from Bermuda Motors, the smart business choice.
It was 5 days before Christmas. I will never forget that. I went for a regular 20-week checkup to see how the baby was doing. They said, your daughter has a half a heart. Her heart is damaged beyond repair. And I'm like, are you sure? Are you sure? And she said, yes. There's nothing we could do to help your daughter. New York Presbyterian Hospital said, yes, we'll take her. And yes, they did. We knew that Jenna would need a heart transplant. Dr. Badger actually said, you have to do the 3 surgeries to give her a fighting chance. Everybody else gave up. They never gave up. I would tell the entire New York Presbyterian Hospital, you guys are our angels. You guys are always there for Jenna.
Welcome back. Parliamentarians began debating the finances of individual ministry heads today in the House of Assembly. First up was the Ministry of Tourism and Transport with their $88.5 million budget. Mike Sharp reports.
Minister Zane De Silva said there will be an increase in cruise taxes from $24,100,000 in 2018 to $32,300,000 in 2019. The minister added that the restructuring of cruise and cruise ship passenger tax has not been uplifted in 13 years.
Cruise ship and cruise ship passenger taxes in effect from April 1st, 2019. Cabin tax will be repealed. Passenger departure tax will remain the same for ships berthing in or at anchor and tendering to the town of St. George and the city of Hamilton, $20 per person per 24-hour period or any part thereof to a maximum of $60. There will be an increase of $5 to $25 per person for passenger departure tax for each 24-hour period or any part thereof to a maximum of $75 per person per call for ships berthing in dockyard or at anchor and tendering to dockyard. We will introduce a $22 per person tax called the Large Ship Infrastructure Tax for passengers sailing on vessels with gross tonnage exceeding 149,000 tons or exceeding 1,120 feet in length or exceeding 4,000 passengers, whichever is applicable. The Large Ship Infrastructure Tax revenue will be used to help fund infrastructure improvements. There will be a new cruise ship passenger fee of $16 per person to fund destination marketing and on-island product and experience development by the Bermuda Tourism Authority. This fee will be paid directly to the BTA, and as a result, the government will be able to reduce its annual grant to the authority.
Transport and Tourism Minister said the OBA struck a deal with the cruise ships to widen the channel, and this brought about a special arrangement.
Well, part of that deal was that they would put up, the cruise lines would put up the money. They would loan the money to the government. Whilst that loan was in place, we did not have the ability to raise taxes as part of that deal. Additional to that, we were also paying a fairly high interest rate on that loan. What we've decided to do is to repay that loan, because under the terms of the agreement, until the loan has been repaid, we couldn't raise taxes. So what we've done is we've put in the mechanism and received permission to repay this loan, and therefore we will gain several $1 million this year in added taxes. We will also save money on the high interest rate that the former government had agreed, and to the benefit of all Bermudians. So this is a good thing.
And I'm Mike Sharp with Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Thanks, Mike. Turning to weather news, well, showers and very strong winds headed our way as the U.S. eastern seaboard deals with another snowy cold front. Let's go to AccuWeather headquarters for the details.
AccuWeather is presented by BF&M Insurance Group. We now go to AccuWeather headquarters.
The BF&M Insurance Group is pleased to bring you tonight's AccuWeather forecast. I'm meteorologist Brittany Boyer, and well, hopefully you had a good weekend. It always seems to go by very quickly. And the start of this week, now temperature-wise, not bad. Today we got into the mid-70s. However, the second half of the week, temperatures will be going downhill, and we're also going to be going downhill with the forecast because we have some rain on the way here. Frontal boundary lurking its way from the west, and that's going to be bringing us some showers, maybe even a rumble of thunder as we head into tonight. And it's just not this boundary that's going to be causing problems. We'll have more opportunities for some rain also Tuesday into Wednesday. And if you feel like it's been really wet out so far this year, you are right. We are running above normal for rainfall across the island here, closing in on 12 inches of rain since the start of the year, and it looks like we will be picking up possibly more significant rain as we get into Tuesday night, and also into Wednesday as well. So enjoy these temperatures right now. It's been feeling pretty nice outside today with temps getting into the 70s here. It is going to be breezy with the winds picking up as we head into tonight as that front continues to make progress towards us. Right now we have winds out of the south-southwest, 15 to 20 knots. The water temperature 68 degrees. Not bad inside of the reef. Outside of the reef, however, it is choppy with seas running between 6 and 9 feet. So we do have a small craft warning in place through Wednesday night here. So we are looking at some challenging times. We have your tidal times posted right here for you. We have our low tide coming in at 1:35 or 1:36 rather on your Tuesday morning. So into tonight, it will be breezy. The winds will be picking up. We will have showers and possibly even a thunderstorm as well. Temperatures falling to about 65 degrees tonight, and then tomorrow the boundary just kind of hanging up here around our area. So we will have some showers around tomorrow night, a better chance for some steadier rain, and that also looks to be the case here as we head into our Wednesday. This is what Futurecast looks like, and you'll notice not a lot of movement here with the moisture. We get into Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday night, there's that steady rain with the storm primarily staying to our north and west. But again, we are looking at least Tuesday and Wednesday being a bit on the unsettled side before some much colder air filters into the area. And when I say colder, temperatures are going to go from above normal right now to actually below normal for March standards. So big change on the way here as we look at what's going on in a few other locations. Jamaica, Barbados, and Trinidad. We're in the 80s right now. Got some moisture around, some clouds, and also some spotty showers. If you're doing any traveling, maybe heading out toward the East Coast, New York City, 32 degrees tomorrow, Boston right around the freezing mark, and Atlanta also getting some of that colder air with temperatures in the upper 40s. Here's a look at our extended forecast. Again, watch out for some steady rain Tuesday night into Wednesday. Behind the cold front, temperatures go crashing. A high of just 62 degrees on Thursday with still mainly cloudy skies, and then improvements just in time for the weekend.
AccuWeather was presented by BF&M Insurance Group.
I was diagnosed with illness. Very frightening because my son had just turned 1 and it was a cancer. So I'm young, new baby, and I needed to get the care that I knew would be definitive to that. I wanted to be around for him for a very long time. I got in contact with BF&M, and BF&M was able to commit at that time to doing at least 50%, so we were comfortable, okay, well, we're gonna go. We got off the plane, actually, the day of the procedure, and on my way to the limo, my case manager called and she says, Kiana, we got it, you're covered at 100%. And I cried all the way to the office because I was just so happy. The BF&M difference is that I really felt that the case manager really was concerned about my overall care. And because of that, I really appreciated them. I think that personal care, that willingness to listen, and then to work until they were able to get it so that I could get full coverage really made the difference for me.
And you are watching the Monday edition of Bermuda Tonight. The government has announced it will be setting up a wage commission to consult stakeholders over the implementation of a national living and minimum wage. It follows the tabling of a report by the Parliamentary Joint Select Committee last year, which listed the creation of a wage commission as one of its recommendations. This commission will be made up of a body of experts with social partners from the Trade Union Congress and employer groups. The commission will function as an independent authority responsible for implementing the living wage. The commission will be charged with establishing the regulatory regime around the implementation of the statutory wage scheme based upon best practice. The Minister of Labor, Community Affairs and Sports, Levita Fogo, said this throne speech initiative is a priority for her ministry. In a statement on the initiative, Ms. Fogo stating that the creation of a living wage isn't unique to Bermuda. She pointed out that most modern developed countries have a minimum or living wage regime. She quotes statistics showing that more than 90% of countries designated as International Labor Organization member states currently have a statutory wage scheme of some sort. Ms. Fogo adds it is deemed unconscionable in today's society to have people working 2 or 3 jobs who are struggling to put food on the table, end quote. After the break, recommendations from anti-racism group CURB, and Earl Bazin will deliver the weekend sports roundup. We'll be right back.
The Bermuda Olympic Association's Women in Sport Committee invites you to be the champion of your life. A banquet and expo on March 8th and 9th at the Fairmont Hamilton Princess. In celebration of International Women's Day, our illustrious banquet keynote speakers are U.S. Olympians Hazel Clark and Gerald Miles Clark, while a panel of some of Bermuda's top female athletes, past and present, will be featured at the expo. Join us in encouraging girls and women to be the champions of their lives. For more information, visit olympics.bm.
Cal's wondering, do cell phone and internet providers really look out for his best interests? And what about electricity? Like most people, Cal's had his share of bad experiences with service providers. Yet, he also has friends in the industry who go above and beyond for customers. As a consumer, your experience shouldn't be hit and miss, which is why the regulatory authority is introducing consumer protection standards. Cal likes that. The standards will mean improved frontline staff training, fair and honest marketing and advertising, better handling of complaints, easy to understand billing, and protection for vulnerable consumers. The new guidelines will also set service standards for managing outages, customer data privacy, and more. The regulatory authority wants to know what's important to you. It's easy to have your say. Go to rab.bm to be part of the Consumer Protection Public Consultation.
The anti-racism group CURB has called for restorative practices to be placed into the island's education system. The charity has made the recommendations along with many others. In a latest racial justice platform just published, CURB President Lynn Winfield told Turai Trot, CURB believes restorative practices in education would help students to deal with conflict and trauma.
First of all, what do you hope to happen as a result of this platform?
We understand that many of these items might take time to get to. Also, some of them will cost money to do, and we know that there's restrictions right now on those things. But this is a continual list of things that we believe will change the future for Bermudians in this island, that we believe it will restore some of the harm that was done in the past. And it will also make sure that the community is fairer and that people have access and opportunities in a way that they've been blocked from having in the past.
One of the recommendations from CURB is the introduction of what it calls restorative practices in the classroom.
Your group is calling for restorative practices in the education system. Are we talking about placing race relations at the center of the curriculum?
Not exactly. No, that is not what restorative practices mean, or restorative justice. You're probably more familiar with restorative justice, which is in the criminal justice system, which is a way of dealing with harm. Usually in the criminal justice system, what happens is once a crime has occurred, it's literally handed over to the state, and the state then moves forward prosecuting, and it's all about prosecution and punishment. What restorative justice does is looks at what harm has been occurred, who has been hurt, and how do we repair that harm, or how do we fix it.
Elsewhere, CURB is urging government to join up to the CARICOM Reparations Commission set up in 2013.
How would Bermuda benefit from this association?
Well, they're doing a lot of work on reparations, and although CURB, through this racial justice platform, that our ideas are forms of reparation. A lot of people think of reparation as being giving money from one person or a government to one individual, and that's not necessarily the case. It's a lot of actions can be taken that will repair the damage of the past. So we're hoping that people in different departments within government, that the political parties, it's been sent to every single member of the political parties, that they will look at these things to see what is realistic to move ahead with right now.
Reforming legislation governing the treatment of those who owe debts remains a top priority of CURB. The charity sees the practice as an anachronism.
We're very concerned that we still have the equivalent of a debtor's court, if you like, where people who have become, and especially following the economic downturn 10 plus years ago, that there are people still having to go through the criminal courts, the court system, to deal with this situation with debts, and that they are being put in prison, which is, something that used to be done in Charles Dickens' day, that if you owed money, you were put in prison. And of course, you could never pay it back if you're put in prison. So it's a way, again, of bringing even to that situation. How can we look at it more restoratively?
Now Earl Basin has tonight's sports report.
Caden Hopkins has finished 49th overall, competing in the National Independent Cycle Tour going on in the Dominican Republic.
Hopkins completed the final stage, which was a 98-kilometer race, in 24th, clocking a time of 2 hours, 9 minutes, and 11 seconds. Hopkins would finish with an overall time of 18 hours, 34 minutes, and 24 seconds. A total of 29 goals were scored over the weekend in Premier and First Division football action. In the Premier Division, it was Paget Lions 1, Somerset Trojans 1, Boulevard Blazers 1, Dandytown Hornets 3, Crossroads 2, Devonshire Cougars 3, Robin Hood 0, PHC Zebras 1, BAA 1, North Village Rams 2. In First Division play, it was Southampton Rangers 2, Vasco 3, Young Man Social Club 0, Devonshire Colts 2, Island Rangers 0, Flanagan's Onions 1, St. David's 0, Somerset Eagles 3, St. George's Colts 3, Wolves 0. The second round of 3 FEI World Jumping Challenge took place at the National Equestrian Center on Visa Street on Saturday in the 1.20 to 1.30 meter category A division. Philip Correa and his horse Emerson achieved double clear rounds with a solid performance in both jumping rounds. Courtney Brumby and her horse Worth the Wait had a superb round with double clear rounds, resulting in the pair capturing first place in the 1.10 to 1.20 meter category B division. Leading the way in the 1 meter to 1.10 meter category C division was Cody Rigo and Casanova. The pair executed another outstanding performance, going clear in both jumping rounds in a time of 50.93. Madeline Moore concluded competing in the WAC Swimming Championships. Moore would finish fourth in the women's 100-yard freestyle preliminaries with a time of 50.64. She would then collect another gold medal on her way to winning the women's 100-yard freestyle A final, touching the water in a time of 49.32. Vanessa Esposito competed in the Eastern College Athletic Conference Swimming Championships. Esposito won the women's 50-yard freestyle B final and finished 9th overall, touching the water in a time of 4:59.96. Bermuda National Athletic Association hosted their 6th track meet of the season, with 4 athletes meeting the qualifying standard for the Carifta Games. Nairobi Smith Mills and Sancho Smith met the standard for the under-17 boys 800 meters. Smith Mills clocked a winning time of 1:57.93, with the standard being 2:03 flat. Smith was clocked across the line in a time of 1:59.50. Isabel Dutronat previously met the standard for the under-20 girls 3,000 meter race. She would qualify for another event, clocking a time of 4:55.33 to meet the under-20 girls 1,500 meter standard, with the standard time set at 5 minutes flat. Mal Levrock and his Walkerville Cricket Club teammates were bowled out on the opening day of their 2-day Adelaide Turf Cricket Association Kookaburra Sports A1 Premier Grade Round 10 match against Para Hills. Walkerville won the toss and elected to bat, and they were bowled out for 179 in 69.3 overs. Levrock scored 13 from 15 deliveries, hitting 1-4 and 1-6. The Bermuda Karting Club season continued at the Rubis Southside Motorsports Park with race day 12 and the first trophy race of the season. Now Bean won all 3 races in the cadet class, while Blake Horseman took the checkered flag in 2 of the 3 races in the tag senior class. Scott Barnes would win the other. David Barbosa crossed the line first in all 3 races of the AL 206 Masters class, while Scott Barnes won all 3 races in the AL 206 senior class. The tag junior class saw George A. Thomas win all 3 races, while Owen DaCosta won 2 of the 3 races in the shifter stock class. Scott Barnes won the other, and Ben Seville won 2 of the races in the shift modified class held on the day.
I'm Earl Baisden with Bermuda Broadcasting Sports.
At Argos, our interest is you. Each of you. Around here, we know that when 2 people seem the same, they can have very different insurance needs. For their health, home, work, and future. Which is why we take the time to get to know you as an individual, so we can provide insurance coverage that fits your life. Because after all, our interest is you.
Attention, Honda drivers, you and your passenger safety may be at risk. There are recalls underway to repair affected Takata airbags for free. Sharp metal fragments from airbag explosions have injured and killed vehicle occupants. Free airbag repairs on affected vehicles. If you own a 2001 to 2016 Honda vehicle, come to one of our free airbag repair events. Repairathon, Friday to Sunday at Auto Solutions, 61 St. John's Road, Pembroke, on March 8th, 9th, and 10th from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Repairs will be conducted while you wait. No appointment necessary. Food and refreshments will be provided. Repairs are approximately 45 minutes. For more information or to schedule an appointment for another day, call Auto Solutions at 441-295-5000. Please check if your vehicle is affected by visiting hondacars.bm/recalls. At Honda, we care about your safety. So if you or anyone else you know could be driving an affected vehicle, please take action immediately.
At the Bermuda Festival, we're bringing the classics to life in 2019, between March 5th and 9th. From New York, the Frazan Ensemble features the brightest of classical music's rising stars drawn from major music schools including Juilliard and Yale. Terrence McNally's play Masterclass portrays Broadway and film actress Catherine Cates as opera diva Maria Callas. For tickets, visit PTix or BermudaFestival.org. Celebrating the empowerment of women, She is Art, 44th Annual Bermuda Festival.
29 primary school students from Port Royal and Heron Bay recently graduated from the Gang Resistant Education and Training Program, also called GREAT. 18 students from Port Royal and 11 from Heron Bay were presented their certificates for completing Phase 1 of the program on February the 18th and 19th. The program also delivers a 12-week pilot program for boys at Elliott Primary that focuses on building self-confidence, positive relationship building skills, knowing your worth, teamwork, and building resilience. And on a programming note about Let's Talk with Gary Moreno, it normally airs on Monday evenings, but this week's show will air tomorrow, Tuesday, March the 5th. Gary will be talking to the OBA about the budget. That's Let's Talk tomorrow evening, not tonight, at 8 p.m. on ZBM TV 9. That's our newscast on this Monday evening. I'm Diane Brewer. Thanks for joining us. Good night.